slightly happier environment than at Melbourne City at the moment, obviously, and not just because they won the derby, but because the machine, this Melbourne City setup, seems to be absolutely humming at the moment, Broski, and they're pumping out kids who are doing things week on week that show you, I feel like sometimes we get too excited too early with young players at the moment, but what we're seeing here is a group who have come through together. And, the week they've just had is incredible. They knocked off Makita Zelvia in Japan, which not many people thought they could do, especially with their injuries. And they came home and we all thought, well, they're going to be tired. They got a derby. Can Victory capitalise? No, they showed up again, Broski. And there were 14 academy graduates of City on that field. And not all of them were for City. So they've got, in fact, I'm pretty sure there were more City academy graduates playing for Victory than Victory academy graduates.
Wow.
So that tells you at the moment that they've got some stuff figured out, right?
The production line there at the City and their academy is incredible, and that's just the reality of it. When you look at how many players they had from their academy playing for the Victory and across the league, really, they're not going to be able to keep them all. These kids all want game time, and it's hard for Melbourne City as one club to be able to offer that. But that production line and what they're doing there as a club is fantastic, and you've got to take your hat off to that because, yes, while it looks like, okay, every year they're going to be losing some of these kids, and that's what we want. We want these kids going to test themselves in Europe because they've been good enough to do it so quickly here. They've just got the next crop coming straight through, and that's what's been really impressive.
It's like a conveyor belt of talent, but I think, when you look at a lot of A-League clubs talk about having an academy, but no academy has the setup and is so integrated into the club's philosophy.
Is there a better place to be as a young player in Australia right now?
No, I think the evidence suggests no, and it's not right now. I think 3 years ago it was the same. The likes of Nathaniel Atkinson obviously going through there and getting his moves overseas, obviously back now, but there's constantly examples of this. And I think it's not a coincidence. I think the way that they've kind of embedded the academy into the philosophy of the first team, when these players come to the first team, they've already been kind of exposed to the environment, to that way of playing for so long. Obviously, the pace of the A-League will be higher, but that's kind of the only adjustment they have to make. The sports science that they've been doing for years is the same as the first team. They're ready physically. It kind of makes that transition so much easier than at other clubs where it feels like it might be 3 or 4 levels up. It's just the one level up.
Yeah. Boss and Tilio as well.
That's
on
right.
that alumni list, which is incredible and growing, by the season, which is fantastic. Let's hear a little bit now from Aurelio Vidmar talking about the kids at City.
Some probably have had an opportunity a lot earlier than they would have expected, but to be honest, they've all come on and they made an impact. So I think that's bodes well for the future.
So a really interesting crop of young players at Melbourne City, and the one who looks poised to explode, I think, this season, Max Caputo, 7 goals in his last 7 games for club and country. And Broski, you're going to take us through a little bit about what makes him such an interesting player.
Well, when you look at that game in particular and the striker he's up against, Virgos, and we analysed him earlier, there's a reliance on in Australia to bring foreigners here. And when you look at what the impact that young Max is having in leading Melbourne City's line is incredible. And I'm loving watching and analysing his movement, the natural instinct that he has. So you look at the moment here and he's thinking whether this gets through as a shot or not, he's ready for whatever happens. And again, he's not looking at the goal, he's not looking at the keeper, but he's ready. If the keeper spills it, he's there. So that proactiveness to, regardless of what's happening around him, he's always going through on goal. It's just a natural sort of instinct you can't really teach. And in this situation here, Melbourne Victory have possession of the ball, but he's already looking at, when we win this, where am I going to go? And as the play rolls on and Melbourne City do end up winning the ball here, he gets himself forward, looks to make a forward run. The part that I love about this, which again is impossible to teach, is at not one moment has he raised his head to look at where the goalkeeper is. And he takes it early, so you can see the keeper's feet there. They're not set. Duncan's not ready for this shot because he's expecting him to either look up or to take an extra touch. And that ability to not have to look up and just know where the goal is what buys you that second and allows you to have the time in front of goal. And Tommy, you can speak to this part here. Having a striker where you've got that connection where you don't even need to look up. You know that he's making that forward run. There's nothing better than that.
That's right. If you look at all the positions in all the videos we've seen here, it's that position between the 2 centre-backs that he takes up. He's constantly on the shoulder and with obviously a fantastic pass here, but the confidence it gives the player who's playing that ball to play it knowing he's going to be there. So you're not asking yourself, you're not second-guessing yourself, Once again, not looking at the goalkeeper, obviously, again, but, once again, it's one of those things where you get so much confidence giving a ball like that when you know he's going to be there, because often the moment is lost in that situation. And with him there, it just instills so much confidence to the passer of the ball.
And in this situation here, so he knows that his teammate there has space with the ball. So he's occupying these two defenders and he's motioning to him to carry the ball, keep going forward. And as the play continues, player keeps rolling forward there. He knows where he wants to go. He's looking in between the defenders, makes that run and really creates the space and the ability for the shot to happen and the goal to happen. If he doesn't motion there to Schreiber to keep coming and occupy those two defenders, then that doesn't happen.
And Brosky, I've got to ask you, obviously, he's, a physical specimen, he's quick, he runs in behind, he can hold the ball up. How high do you think his ceiling is?
Look, I think from what we've seen this year, we always wonder again, what sort of players can lead these lines. And I think he, at such a young age, that the signs that I'm seeing from him, I think he's in such good form. I think we'll struggle to keep him here beyond this season.
World Cup bolter, maybe.
Popper laughed at it a couple of weeks ago when it was raised, but and look, I don't think it will happen. But I think 2030.
Yep.
Strong chance he could be leading the line. If he continues on this trajectory.
If he ends up with the golden boot, we've seen other A-League players get into the squad recently. Why not?
It's true.